I wouldn't take such extreme measures if this mission went more important than you could possibly imagine. Are you in or out?
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we discuss the Suicide Squad. The Suicide Squad is back, this time as envisioned by writer-director James Gunn, and their mission is simple: to quell the anti-American coup that's taken over a remote island, destroy a secret facility there, and save the world. Simple enough, right? Several characters return for duty, including Margot Robbie in what is probably her best performance to date of DC Comics' favorite Harley Quinn. Viola Davis's Amanda Waller returns as ruthless as ever, along with Joel Kinnaman as the ever-annoyed and outdone Colonel Rick Flag. New faces joining Task Force X include King Shark, voiced by Sylvester Stallone, which surprisingly fit well into this film's overall comic style. He looked great and was at all times pretty fearsome, but also freaking hilarious. David Dastmalchian's Polka-Dot Man made his debut as well. This character can initially come across as kind of silly, both in concept and in his various iterations in the comics. But he's actually quite interesting and layered, and that's conveyed well in this film. He's probably my second favorite character next to Harley. Then there's Ratcatcher 2, played by Daniela Melchior. As questionable as I thought this would be, she was first promoted as a gender swap. They instead made her Ratcatcher's daughter, and you guys know how I feel about that. Maybe it's my love of genealogy or history, or just my love of families and stories, but I believe a great way to introduce a new generation of characters, or pass on the mantle, if you will, is through generations, with a respect and appreciation shown to the past. And so I was pleasantly surprised by this move, and I feel she did do a good job in the role. Last but not least, there's Idris Elba as Bloodsport and John Cena as Peacemaker. Seriously, they both did a fantastic job. I honestly cannot imagine anyone else's Peacemaker. Cena was made for the role. He looked and sounded the part perfectly, and I can see why he would get his own spinoff. Elba was jaw-dropping as Bloodsport. The only thing I would criticize with him, though, is the inconsistent dialogue. We all know how passionate his delivery can be, but while some lines were clearly meant for him and came across as incredible, the quippier lines just didn't land for me. It felt at times as if they forgot which actor they were writing for. That said, the writing was quite good, albeit formulaic, but it's a comic book movie, and the plot was ripped more or less from the comic, so it didn't require much in the way of imagination. What was an unexpected surprise was how dedicated Gunn seemed to be to maintaining that aesthetic. When it came to lighting, costumes, and cinematography, you can tell they were going for a comic book look, which together with the action set pieces, and there is a ton of action in this movie, and the sound design, it all made you feel like you were stepping into the pages of a real Suicide Squad adventure. That said, the film certainly has its issues. For one, you may have heard some complaints about characters mirroring those from the first film. This was intentional. Remember, this film was marketed as a reboot. It's not a sequel per se. So Deadshot and Bloodsport, which are inherently parallel characters, replacing one another is to be expected. Still, I'll admit the writers could have done a better job of distinguishing the two. While they are different personality-wise, so much else about them is near identical, and I'm certain that's not exactly what fans of either were looking for here. Other complaints have had to do with pacing, and they're absolutely right. One of my biggest complaints about this film is that when there isn't action, there isn't much else. It's dark, it's gritty, it's grimy, it's gory, and that's all well and good, but between those scenes, something something should be happening to move the story forward, and it's not really, at least not cohesively. This mishap is not enough to necessarily take you out of the film, but if you watched in theaters, then you are probably wishing for a fast forward button or going out to grab some more popcorn and finding that you haven't missed a thing. There's also the way in which the characters are introduced. When the details about this film first dropped, one of my concerns was how such an enormous cast would work. And I have to say, the film does struggle in giving each character their proper development, what they deserve in terms of fleshing them out. It's another example of a missed opportunity. Each of these characters probably could have used a solo film before bringing them together in this one. Instead, it seems the studio is taking the reverse course of action, which makes no sense to me, but hey, whatever. All in all, The Suicide Squad is a fun little comic book action film. One that remembers what escapism is supposed to be about. It does rush a little here and it drags a little there, but if you enjoyed the comics or the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, then I would highly recommend it. But hey, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.